Welcome back to the Social Therapy Podcast, where we talk about self-love and self-care and self-accountability. You are the CEO and your life is your business. But I'm here today to coach you through it a little bit, okay? So today we talking about self-love and the hard truth. Everybody's like self-love, self-care, do it, like it's supposed to be so easy. And then when you get into it, you're like, you know what? I don't really want to say nothing to nobody, but this is kind of hard. And it's like, I don't know how to feel about that because it's me. I'm taking care of me. It can't be hard taking care of myself, can it? It absolutely can. It absolutely can. And I'm going to tell you why today, okay? And not only that, but we're also going to go over a few actions you can take in your regular life that you can just kind of incorporate as you go along, so you can go ahead and get started on this journey, because it's a journey. Okay, but you already know, before we go any further, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, right? Motivated Coffee, because they pay the bills around here. So make sure you check out Motivated Coffee at motivatedcoffee.com. Okay, right now they got a special going on. You get a free Clipper scoop with every purchase that you make on the website. So, they have an artesian blend right now. The artesian blend's origins come from Nicaragua, Colombia, Congo, and Brazil, with tasty notes of smoked cherry wood, chestnut, hazelnut, dark plum, and cocoa. And you know, whenever I drink this, it has a really smooth flavor. It doesn't hold like that taste in the back of your throat, a little tang that you get with coffee sometimes. It's really smooth and it's easy on the stomach. So, I mean, in my opinion, they got the best coffee on the internet. I think it says that on their website too. I'm not sure. But make sure you check them out. The link is in the description below at motivatedcoffee.com. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get this episode started, okay? So like I said, we talking about self-love and the hard truth. Now, you may very well know exactly what you need to do in order to be a healthier version of yourself, a happier version of yourself, or even more successful than you are right now. And for some reason, you are not able to do it. It's like something is blocking you mentally, physically, emotionally. It's like you know what you need to do. You just can't quite bring yourself to do it. And every time you set out to do something and you tell yourself that you're going to do this and that, like let's say you tell yourself, okay, I'm drinking water for the next 30 days. Nothing but water, right? No pop, no soda, no juice, no beer, no wine, no alcoholic beverages, nothing, just water, right? And then you're good for like a week. And then you go out to eat with your boo or whoever. And next thing you know, you sitting at the bar drinking a mimosa. You got a Coke with your drink, with your meal. And while you're ordering it, you feel some kind of way. When they bring it and you look at it, you feel some kind of way. You still have the opportunity to go back and ask, hey, can I get a water? But when you drink it, now you're feeling guilty. Now you're really feeling some kind of way. Because you just lied to yourself. You just broke a promise to yourself. And I'm sorry, but if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? I mean, this is where a lot of our trust issues come from. If I can't trust me, I definitely can't trust you. Okay? How are you better for me than I am? How? I don't even put myself as a priority. How can I expect you to put me as a priority, right? How can I expect you to respect me and I'm clearly not respecting myself right in your face? I'm just saying. I'm telling y'all, it goes deeper than that a lot of the times, right? But, I mean, you're not hopeless. It's not a hopeless situation. It's not like you're stuck like that forever. I mean, a lot of this takes trial and error, right? It really does. I mean, our journeys are different. And as we get to know ourselves and we start realizing what our strengths and weaknesses are, we got to start to play into our strengths before we start to address our weaknesses a lot of times. And a lot of us ain't doing neither one of them. Okay? And one of the reasons why we don't even really even take it serious to be consistent with the promises that we make to ourselves is because we really just don't take it that serious, right? I mean, this is not that important. I mean, because you low-key thinking in the back of your head, like, I've been doing it this way for this long, I'm fine. I woke up this morning, I got up out the bed, I did what I had to do, I'm okay. Are you though? Are you? You sure? Because if you were, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. We wouldn't even be talking about this right now because it wouldn't even be on your mind. You wouldn't even know exactly what you need to do to be healthier because you would think you were already healthy enough, right? You wouldn't even know exactly what changes you need to make in your life to have more peace and happiness because you're in control of your peace and happiness. You know that, right? Other people might disrupt your peace and happiness, but you are ultimately the one in charge of what you allow to go down around you and what you tolerate. And if you already know what you need to do to be successful, it's kind of hard to say that it's not important, right? And that you're just fine. Stop putting yourself on the back burner. Put yourself in the front. Stop breaking promises to yourself. When you break a promise to yourself, that's a reflection of your self-worth. You don't think you're worth it. You don't think you're worth the follow-through, the kept promises. You're constantly disappointing yourself. And then down the line, you get to the point where you don't even trust yourself. You don't even trust your thoughts. You don't believe in you. Now, the only way you can do anything is if you have somebody else come along and do it with you because you have more trust in them than you do on yourself. You should feel guilty about that because you need to change it. You need to start doing the work to build up trust within yourself again. And one of the ways to do that is to be selfish, because I want you to stop looking at putting yourself first, prioritizing your wants, needs, and desires as being selfish. I want you to look at it as being self-responsibility, because nobody has a responsibility to you like you do. This is your body. This is your flesh. This is your mind. This is your soul. You're only on this earth this time. Whatever happens after we leave here, I don't know. It ain't really my business. I don't have any control over that. Right? I don't know. I know what I believe as far as being a Christian. But that's what I believe. But I don't know. It's just what I believe. Right? But while you're here, walking this green earth with all the drama and stuff going on around you, you're responsible for you. So a few reasons why you might feel like, okay, I know I want to do this, right? I know I want to be more present in my life for me. But you know what? I'm not doing it. And I'm going to tell you why you're not doing it. I'm going to tell you some reasons why you may not be doing it. Let me put it better like that. For one, you may feel like you don't have time. I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? You might feel like you don't have time. And you might not. You might be busy, baby, busy. You might be ripping and running and ripping and all over the place, and you barely got time to sleep. You getting 2-3 hours of sleep a night, right? Here's a few things you can do to fit in some minor self-care actions into your life. Fitting into your current routine, right? Substitute soda for water. When you go to the gas station and put gas in your car, and you go inside, you go to the back of the store where the little refrigerator is at, and you go reach for a pop, reach for a water. Same amount of time, same action. Arm still moving in the same direction. Walk up to the front, pay for it, go to your car, go where you're going. Boom. Self-care. Bam. Listen to an audiobook or a podcast while you're in your car. Even if there's other folks in your car, look here, look. Let me tell you something. It's your car. Okay? It ain't their car. Being in my car is like being in my house. Okay? We gonna listen to what I want to listen to. If you don't want to listen to what I want to listen to, you should have drove. So I don't really listen to music in the car, right? Listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast. And just because you're listening to alternative forms of entertainment, it doesn't mean it has to all be self-care driven. Because I mean, if you keep surrounding yourself with self-care, you're going to start to get burnt out. That's not self-care. Focusing on self-care is not self-care. Focusing on the things that bring you enjoyment, that makes life easier for you, is more caring, right? So listen to that true crime podcast on your way to work, right? Listen to that audio book listen to the romance audio book on your way on your way home, on your way to pick up dinner. Listen to the things that make you feel good, that you find enjoyment in, that is a part of who you are and your personality. That is self-care. I'm not saying don't listen to self-help books and podcasts and stuff like that. I mean, listen to me. I'm a self-help podcast. Listen to me, okay? But you don't have to be constantly driving that narrative into your mind on a regular basis in order to be doing it. Doing it is actually doing what you need. If you like that kind of stuff, that's what you listen to. That's what you be on, right? Make your own algorithm. You can, leave 5 minutes early so you can stop on your way to wherever you're going at your favorite coffee shop and grab you a coffee or grab you a tea, or, drive that extra block to go ride past a scenery that makes you feel nostalgic. Stay in the shower for 5 extra minutes. You know what? When I'm in the shower, I don't know about y'all, but it's a whole vibe for me. And because it's a whole vibe, I have to set a timer. Because I would be in there for way too long. And I have literally been running late for things because I was in the shower for too long. Like, for real. I set a timer for myself because I get in the shower. It's like, man, I got the music going. I got a candle lit. I might, if it's after hours, if it's the end of the day shower, I probably got a glass of wine somewhere. And yeah, I have to set a timer. Set a timer for yourself so you can know how much time do you have to sit in the shower, and you can really, sitting in the shower, and I sit, okay? But sitting in the shower is like therapeutic. The sound of the water, the feeling of it hitting your body, letting your mind drift a little bit, work out a few scenarios that's been on your mind. Yeah. Stay in the shower for 5 more minutes, and just relax. Sit in the car for 5 minutes before you go in the house. Look, so many people do this, and it feels good. You need to do it. Going home from wherever you just came from is a transition in your day. And sometimes that little 5 minutes in the car before you go in the house is the transition. You're prepping yourself for what you need to do. Prepping yourself to walk up in there and wash these dishes or, just whatever. Prep yourself to relax. Even if you're just sitting in the car scrolling through your phone, eating them snacks that you don't want to share with nobody. It helps. Maybe you're having a hard time with self-care and sticking to it because you just don't know where to start. One place to start, one way that you can figure out where to start is to listen to your body. How is your body acting out right now? Right? How does your body respond when you're frustrated? What is the source of your frustration? Work on getting that frustration released. How do you feel when you're dehydrated? Are you drinking enough water? That is Your body telling you what it needs. Are you getting headaches at certain times of the day? What's triggering those headaches? Do you need glasses? That is self-care, right? And what I want you to realize is like, my self-care does not look like your self-care and vice versa, okay? You got to learn yourself and your needs. And whatever it is that you need, that doesn't mean that's what I need. But you got to do the work to figure out what you need for yourself. So you can try things that other people say to do, like meditate in the morning, take 10 minutes for this or that, or blah, blah. Do it. And if it works for you, keep doing it. But if it don't work for you, don't work. Don't force it. Figure something else out. But it's the act of knowing that you're trying to figure it out and you're working on yourself that's going to motivate you to keep going until you figure out what you need and what your body's trying to tell you. Okay? Another reason why you may be having a hard time sticking with self-care is because it's uncomfortable. Yo, look, it is uncomfortable. Okay? It's uncomfortable because you are breaking old habits. You're breaking generational curses. You are establishing new habits. You're nurturing yourself. This is not about pleasure. Okay? The body does not like to be uncomfortable. Human beings do not like pain. Now, I know it might be a few of y'all be like, I like pain, Rhonda. That's not the kind of pain I'm talking about. That's pleasure. Okay? What I'm talking about is things that make you uncomfortable, going against the grain, getting out of your comfort zone, stepping up. Does not feel good initially. But if you keep going through it, then when you reap the rewards of what you set out for yourself, the uncomfortable becomes your new comfort place. You may be having a hard time because you're waiting on somebody else to do it for you or with you, to tell you what to do and how to do it and when to do it. But you know what? You know what they say? They say what they eat won't make you shit. So them being in charge of your self-care journey does not necessarily do anything for you. They can make suggestions and tell you what to do, but you the one ultimately have to make the decision to do it. You ultimately have to be 10 toes down, ready to go for yourself. And even when they're not available, you have to still keep going because you can't completely depend on anybody to always be there. Prime example, right? A while ago, I used to work out at the gym. I used to get up at like 5 in the morning and I would hit the gym before work. Right? Go to the gym, work out, come back home, get my kid together, go to work. Then, one of my coworkers, she started coming with me. She was like, I need an accountability partner, blah, blah, blah. So now we both in there, 5 a.m. in the gym, getting it together, right? It was cool. I loved it. Then she got married. When she got married, like instantly, she stopped going. She stopped coming. I'll come to the gym. She's not there. I'll call her. She's not answering. Finally, when I approached her at work, I'm like, girl, what's going on? Why you ain't been at the gym lately? You got me up there by myself. She's like, girl, we is honeymooning. Basically, like, girl, shoot. Nobody got time for that. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the bed with my husband. Oh, okay. All right. Right? I mean, shoot, I ain't got no husband, but at the time I had a man, but it is what it is. Not the same. I know it's not the same, but I'm just saying. I'm like, oh, okay. She never came back. So now, even though she's not there for me anymore, I had to keep going. I had to push myself. And every day going without her being there was harder and harder for me to do because I got comfortable with depending on her. And I think eventually, like a couple of months later, I gradually started going like after work instead of before work. And then I just stopped going. I'm not even going to give y'all no excuses. Some stuff did happen, but at the end of the day, stuff happens anyway, regardless, right? And it's up to you to keep that motivation and keep that drive to hold yourself accountable and not wait for somebody else to hold you accountable. You got to go. You got to do it. You got to make that step, even when things get hard, because you are responsible for you. She wasn't responsible for me. She wasn't responsible for me. She was responsible for herself. She was responsible for her husband. She was responsible for her kids. And she was where she felt her responsibilities led her to be. I am responsible for me. You are responsible for you. Okay? Another reason why you may have a hard time on the self-care journey and sticking to it is because it just don't feel how you expected it to. It just don't feel the way you thought it was going to feel, because you are craving whatever it is you cut out of your life. And I'm not just talking about food. I mean, even though food is a big one, right? Fast food, snacks, sugar, carbs, meat. Ooh, child. Let me tell you something. A glass, a bottle of wine, a margarita, baby. When you cutting that out, it's hard. Ooh, it's hard. But you also cutting out drama, right? You're cutting out toxic relationships and environments. You might change your job. You might leave your significant other because they is just doing the most or too much, if you get my drift, right? You might be dealing with narcissism. That's a whole nother beast right there. But in the process of letting those things go, you do crave them, and it doesn't sound right. It's like, how do you crave drama? I should be happy that I'm out of it. You should be. You would think so. Logically, you would think so. But science proves that it's natural to crave that toxic interaction, that toxic environment. And what you got to be careful of is you may get out of one toxic situation and end up right back in another one because you're still craving it. You haven't dealt with the absence of it yet, and you still find yourself drawn to it because you move like a person who is still who is still having a traumatic experience. For example, if you were dating a person who has narcissistic personality disorder, right? And you was with that person for a substantial amount of time, and you have began to make changes in the way that you do things so you don't set that person off. Now you're not with them no more, but you still act the same way. You still do things the same way, right? You still avoid conflict the same way. So when another person who has the same personality traits invites themselves into your life, instead of you running away at those red flags, you find comfort in the familiarity of it all. And then you look up one day and I'm like, damn, how did I end up here again? How did I end up here again? It's like the same person, different face, because you didn't deal with that before you got involved in something else. So go get you a coach. Because if you can't deal with it and you don't know what to do, there are people who are educated, have dedicated their lives to helping you move on so you don't fall into the crosshairs of that traumatic experience once again. And I don't want to say fall victim, because we're not victims out here. I refuse to have a victim mindset. I'm not going to encourage you to have one either, okay? But in the process of you becoming this person who is coming out of craving whatever it is that you cut out of your life, you start to become hyper aware of how you have been treating yourself and what you have allowed in your life. Like, you start realizing, like, as you start to eat cleaner, you start realizing how bad you was eating before. For example, like, I stopped eating. I'm not going to say I stopped, but I don't eat sweets too much. I might have a slice of pie or something like that. But as far as like candy bars and stuff like that, like candy, cakes, cupcakes, all that stuff, icing, all that stuff, it's too sweet. Oh my God, it's too sweet. I can't, one bite and I'm like, whoo, set me off. It's too much. All I taste is sugar. I stopped drinking soda. Whenever I drink a soda, it hits me right in the back of my throat. It is strong. It's like everybody got McDonald's pop to me, right? And that's how I realized, like, dang, was I really putting this in my body on a daily basis? What if I can't handle it now? How was I handling this? No wonder I was having a hard time losing weight. No wonder I was breaking out so much. No wonder, right? So you become hyper aware of how you've been treating yourself. You become aware of how you allow others to treat you, right? And no one talks about this part, the realization stage, the stage of self-care, when you start noticing the differences of what you are willing to accept and not accept because you've been working on yourself. And the fact that as you grow as a person and you start to desire different things like food, different types of friendships and relationships, you want to be in different environments around different kinds of folks and eat different kinds of food and have new experiences. You can't take everybody with you. You're going to lose a few people along the way because they just not on what you want. Your conversation is different. Right? Your vibe is different. Y'all not talking about the same things no more. You might have to put those friends in that box over there for fun times. Right? If you have a friend that just talks about makeup and hair and she ain't really talking about investments and that's what you want, then you only call her when you want to talk about makeup and hair, when you want to go to a hair show. But you don't call her up to talk about investing in real estate and the stock market. She has nothing to contribute to the conversation. She doesn't even know what you're talking about. You need to make new friends for those conversations. And you know what? And it's okay. It's okay to have to do that, because why would you try to force somebody into something that they're not ready to be a part of yet? And may never be. But ultimately, once you get through the different stages of self-care and you find your way and you discover yourself and you listen to your body and you know what you want and what you need and you are identifying with it and you are putting it out there and you're working on it, self-care is rewarding and it becomes ultimately easy because it's a lifestyle now. And during the course of your journey, you become stronger, more empowered, generous, you find compassion, and ultimately you garner respect from the people around you. And that is why we focus on self-care, because that's how important it is. All right, y'all, that's it for this week's episode. If you know somebody who could use this episode, make sure you forward this to them so they can listen to it. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Our podcast is now streaming on Facebook Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. We have like several different links. If you go to anchor.fm/social therapy podcast, you will find all the links and you can listen to us on your favorite platform. We're also on YouTube too, so make sure you hit that bell so you know we got something new coming up. And until next week, I will see you later. And Wednesdays, we're doing Wellness Wednesdays, okay? Follow us on TikTok and I'll give you more information about that, okay? But in the meantime, make sure you follow us and you stay in tune. All right, peace. Bye.